You might decide to be a politician. You never know.
I might never need my
Literally,
vote for
No,
president.
you could be a good lawyer.
I've been raised by anarchists, so government's like
You're
really
like
free to
people, like,
focus.
There you
second
go.
or
Because I'm like, no, this goes against my
Oh.
laws.
Yeah, but remember when you told me something
All right,
about
let's get
minerals and
started
F?
so we can get done with this,
What?
okay? Shh, ready? Okay. There's Venn diagrams. It's a way to display some information. It'll become a little bit more specific as we kind of go through the notes, okay? But a couple of definitions you need to know about. One is an intersection. An intersection is exactly what it says. Think of an intersection in a street. It's where the two things meet and kind of overlap, right? So an intersection in a Venn diagram is when you have stuff in set A and stuff in set B, and it's the intersection between these between these sets, so that it contains elements and objects that belong to A and B at the same time, okay? And it's represented with this upside down U. And so if you see this, you would say something like A intersect B, or A with the intersection of B.
Oh my gosh. this
Do you
makes
get it?
sense.
Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it? So here we're talking about, here's all of the stuff in set A in one circle, and here's all of the stuff in set B in some other circle. And so the shaded area is what?
The intersection.
The intersection of those two groups of information. And it could be all kinds of different information, so I want to be kind of vague there. Is the intersection. There we go. Okay. Make sense though? All right. So now we're talking about the union of two sets. So you have a bunch of stuff in A and a bunch of stuff in B, and the intersection is where you have everything that's in A or B put together, or it can be in both. So you're combining both things together. It's designated with a U for union. And one way to think about this is when you have a family reunion, yeah, everybody shows up.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Right, everybody shows up. Even the people you didn't want to show up, they show up. So when you have a union of sets, all of the elements count, okay? And so if we looked here, if this was everything in set A and this is everything in set B, the union is the blending of both of them together, completely shaded in. Make sense?
No.
Who said no?
Well,
Okay, so what part do you not understand?
I just don't like.
It's the union, it's the combining of both sets of things.
instead of being an intersection, which is both of them, they're just
Where they
combined.
meet. Now we're putting everybody together. Mr. McMath's room and my room, if it was a union, we'd put all of the students together.
But
Okay.
say you guys went over there.
Yeah,
It's an intersection.
it's an intersection. If only some of you went over there and some of you stayed here, it'd be an intersection. It wouldn't be completely all of everybody. Okay, so. All right, moving to the next one. This one's going to be a little hard to read because the writing's small, so do look at your paper instead of up here. I think it'll be better for you. All right, so we have this Venn diagram that's been drawn. Notice there are 3 circles. So that means each circle is going to have its own set of information. Some places where the circles overlap and intersect is going to be a combination of those 2 pieces of information or 3 pieces of information. So we have 120 people who are seated at different tables in a Mexican food restaurant, and they were asked if their party had ordered any of the following items: enchiladas, chili con queso, or quesadillas. So what do you think we should label our 3 circles?
Chili queso.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's let one of them be the chilies. Okay. I'm trying to keep it pretty consistent. So with the notes. So hang on, let me find the notes so I do it right. Okay, here we go. All right. So I'm doing the chili con queso circle is here, and it doesn't matter. I'm just making sure I'm consistent in your notes and the notes online, okay? The chili con queso is here. We had enchiladas. And then we had quesadillas. So each of those circles represents that type of food. Are we good so far? All right. The very first bullet point or piece of information we're supposed to put in here is 21 people had ordered none of these items.
So
Well, where would we put them if we
Outside of the
have
circle.
outside of the circle? Seems normal, right? So I'm going to put the number 21 here just to show that those people did not order any of those three things.
Okay.
Okay? And no one ordered just chili con queso by itself. So I want you to look at the chili con queso circle. I generally have to cover these up because remember I told you I don't read well. My reading's comprehension is poor. My visual, it gets overwhelming to me. So I wind up having to cover things up. So there's the chili con queso circle. This piece actually kind of belongs to the enchilada circle. This piece belongs to the quesadilla circle. So I want to show that no one ordered only the chili con queso.
So they ordered out of.
So where would I put that number? Well, what number would it be? No one. 0. And where would I need to put it?
The one with all circles in it.
Yeah, this piece right here that doesn't intersect with any of the other circles. Because that represents only the chili con queso, not blended with anything else. Okay? Now it says I have 5 people who ordered only quesadillas.
So you put it.
So it would be outside the intersections on the quesadillas. So let's see, I did the first question, I did the second question, I did the third question. I'm having to keep track of things, okay? 11 people ordered all 3 things.
So that's in the middle.
It has to be of the overlapping of all 3 circles. So it's this absolute center where all of the rings overlap. Okay, so I took care of that one. 29 people ordered chili con queso or a quesadilla,
So in the middle.
but didn't have an enchilada. So chili con queso or a quesadilla. So it must go right here because those are those 2 circles, right? Okay, 29. 79 people had ordered at least 2 of these items. Okay, that's too vague, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not specific. It's 2 items means it's either going to be these 2, these 2, these 2, and it said at least, so it could even include this. So at this point, I can't really answer that question. I don't know how to divide up that number correctly. So I'm going to pull a star by it and see if I can finish this and then maybe go back and answer it later, or maybe it will get answered. I don't know. Sometimes that happens. Okay? So let's go to the next question. 13 people ordered enchiladas and quesadillas. So enchiladas and quesadillas.
And 26 above 11.
Okay, so that means, so it would go right there. 13, right? 13 goes right there. And then 26 people ordered only enchiladas and
So above
chili.
11.
So, yep, above the 11 we would have the number 26. And I want you to kind of look real quick. Remember that star value that we weren't sure about? That was a total of 79. Look at all of the overlapping stuff, because that's where they had at least 2 things, right? If we add this and this, well, if we add those 2 together, we get 40, right?
Yeah.
40, 50, 60, 66, 76, 78, 79. So 77, 78, 79. So that's that question that we couldn't answer. It's basically all of these added together.
Yeah, but where do you put that?
We don't have to. Because we were able to fill it in, we're good. Okay? One thing you might want to always try to do is just double check your numbers and make sure everything does add up correctly. We have one question left though. And it says how many people had ordered only enchiladas? So, well,
120 people.
120 people were in the restaurant, so I had a total of 120 people.
Yeah.
How many people do we have information on here? We knew that this was 79, right?
9 plus 5.
Plus 5 is 84
Plus
plus
21.
21. So 80, was it 84 plus 21?
Yes.
Yep.
That's 105.
So,
20
Two.
people.
So 15 people is the answer to that question. And that's sort of a puzzle, isn't it? I kind of like this part of it because I like puzzle.
you add all of the, you added everything that was in like everything? Yeah.
Everything, even the people who didn't order that were in the box, okay? You've got everybody who was there. Does it kind of make sense though when you look at it and you can kind of see the information, although in the beginning you're like, I have no idea what we're doing. It's kind of getting there. Okay, flip it over. We need to add a little tiny bit to these notes just so that you have a little bit of more understanding of what the Venn diagrams look like, because part of your homework is going to include this and it's not in these particular notes, so we're adding to it, okay? And I meant to add it, but I didn't. I want you to build 2 Venn diagrams, a box with 2 overlapping circles. You need 2 of these because it's 2 things we're going to talk about. They don't have to be pretty, they don't have to be perfect. They just have to be there, okay? And we're going to label A and B, A and B. Okay. This is what is called a complement, and I think we talked about a complement a while back. A complement is what can be added to create the whole number 1 in some cases. In this case, a complement